Karen speaking. Good morning, Maggie. How are you? Look like it might be just me and you today, which is good.
Hey, how are you?
I'm gonna start on time. I'm doing good. We're gonna go over the seller process today.
Seller, okay.
Like we
I
had
don't know how to mess with
questions that you may have before I start. Specific questions you may have?
No, do I have to sign into anything? Should I be on command or anything like that at this point?
Nope, not at all. I'm gonna do everything from my computer.
You do everything. Okay. All right.
At one point I have an investor jump in, Sergio.
Okay.
Actually, I am doing buyers today. Goodness gracious, am I doing something?
That's what it was on the calendar.
What am I doing today?
Buyers. It's supposed to be. That's what it said.
All right, my thing is confusing me, my calendar. All right, you know what? We can do a buyer. I thought I did a contract for a buyer last week with the attorney, but maybe I didn't. We did sellers, but we reviewed.
How do I show my...
All right, we could do buyers.
How do I show my face?
Down in the bottom, you will see where it says video. It should either have stop video or start video. Like if I got it crossed off, you don't see me, but then if you click on a thing, you see me.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, not that you need it. I was like,
right.
How do I do that? All right, that works.
All right,
it's
so everybody's
participating
in buyers, right? So we're gonna just do buyers. We can flip the switch.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So I'm gonna share my screen. You can see my screen?
Yes.
Let's go find a buyer transaction because I have set up for a seller transaction. And let's see. We'll take this one. I have this one on the contract, which is 1315 West 45th Street, 3-family unit.
Okay.
You already know how to do a contact. We know how to put a contact. We already know how to put start an opportunity.
Yes.
So since you already know that, and Ramiz is coming in, and I know he already knows that, we're just going to go straight to the documents because those two parts are already done. So when we're in DocuSign and we go to documents, we want to start a transaction.
Yeah.
There's your documents. Go to transaction. It's going to bring you to DocuSign. You sign into DocuSign.
Yes.
It's easy if you save all your passwords so that you don't have to remember them.
Okay.
And this is your actual room. Now, consider your room like your folder. So we used to have folders in the back, and everything that you had, you dumped in the folder. If you had a napkin written on, you dump it in the folder. Well, we're an electronic company, so everything we do is electronic. So if you got a piece of paper that you need to save, you need to upload that into your folder, which is your electronic room called DocuSign Room. So just think of your room as your holding pile. 6 years, anything, if we have to go to court, it's in the room. If I have to access the room, I can find that document. If you should leave and I have to access the room, it should be in your room so I can find that document for anything. So just think as this as your junk folder to put all your documents containing to this client, this property in the room. So what I like to always start with is bringing in the tax record. The tax record we get from offline. So I'm going to show you how to go online, pull in your Paragon, look up taxes. I always go to New Jersey tax record, property search, search by street. Most of the time we know the street. You know the county. This in particular is in town. So then you would go to, this is 15 West 45th Street. Yes, West 45th. Nope, I would have to go to W for West. There you go. And then when it comes down to the streets, they have all the streets. And this street is 45th Street. So then I'm gonna go to 45th Street. There's a lot of streets in Bayonne, huh? So there's 45th, and then I want 15, which is a double lot, so 1315.
Okay.
Is TJ Smith. This is the one I have. So I would print it, save it as a PDF on your desktop. You see when you go to print, save as a PDF, label what it is. In this case, it's 1315.
Okay.
West 45th tax record. So that when you go into find things to add into, you know what it's labeled at. So now I'll go back to my DocuSign, back to my room.
Okay.
And I'm going to add. The way I add something is this button that says add. And you're going to bring it off from your computer because it saves it onto your desktop. You labeled it so you know what it is on your desktop. So you add that to the system and you'll see it come up. So now I have 2 of them, which is fine, no problem. But I just wanted to show everybody how to get a document into your room. That's very important for you. Why is the tax record important when I'm doing a contract? It's because on here I need the block and lot. I need to verify the owner's name. I need the proper address, the land description, and amount of the taxes. The year built, that's on your command, but it's not so much important. The square footage is an estimate. So, you know, be careful because it always should be approximate. That's not a guarantee that it's 1738. Also on the tax records, and this is in our intranet, how do you read the building description on the tax records? 3-story, concrete, brick, detached, 3-unit heat with garage. You'll never know what that stuff is all about. Like hard, who knows what all that is? It's just numbers and letters. But 3U is important because 3U tells me it's 3 units. Somebody might be trying to do a 2 with the illegal 1 and telling you, it's 3 units, but nah, man, because the tax record says it's only 2U. So just know that your building description is going to give you the accurate description of your property on the tax record.
That's where we get the legal description from, right?
Correct. That's the legal description. If you need that, I'm going to open up command. I'm going to open up my KW and show you where you can find that document at.
Okay.
So this is our command, and down the bottom we have our intranet. And on our intranet, you can find a lot of valuable information because it's everything contained into our office.
Okay.
Everything looks good, no changes. Okay. So on our intranet, I want to go to the Market Center. In the Market Center, we have documents. Under documents, we have a list of everything. I believe I put that might be in Hot Topics. Can you get it? New Jersey Real Estate Facts, understand rival commission. Nope, that's not under there. Maybe it's under tax, something with tax. I know it's on here somewhere.
Which one are you looking for?
Your tax breakdown. It wouldn't be under how to right book. Well, I'll send it directly to y'all, but it's somewhere in here.
Okay.
I just don't know where right now. But it's a guide to help you with your not only with your taxes, but also to help you with if you need to estimate something out as far as how much a basement is when you're trying to do your contract, or how much additional for a finished basement versus an unfinished basement. It's here somewhere. I don't know where, but generally in the documents for KW, you can find that stuff. Let's go back. One other thing that I like taking off, if I'm working with another agent, I don't know much about that agent, I can get all the information from the MLS itself. So when we on the MLS and we look up the property, and this is going to be easy to look up because it's under me already. I'm training, I'm teaching. So when you click on the person down here, Ingalls and Vox.
Right. Right.
If I click on Ingle, I'm going to get the broker. If I click on Angela, I'm going to get Angela's information. And then I generally just save this into my room so that I know who I'm dealing with and all the information for when I get ready to put the contract together. And all this information gathering is just going to make it easier for you when you go into the contract, not to be going back and forth, because everything will be where you know it to be without having to go back and forth. Sometimes I print it, you know, depending on how quickly I need to read. And then sometimes you can just copy and paste what you need so that you ain't going, you're not, you know, you are going back and forth, but it's easier than writing it down.
Yeah, you fix it before, you know, before you get busy. You just have everything set up like a template almost.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. Absolutely. Now, remember, if you're working with the buyer, you're not going to have the lead-based paint. So from Paragon, again, you're going to need to bring in the documents from Paragon, and that's under D. D stands for documents. If you click on it, you'll see that she have her documents for LPB, which is lead-based paint. You don't want your buyer to sign a blank one. So you want to make sure that they sign one that has been signed by the seller and by the listing agent. So you want to drop that into your documents as well. Okay. So I drop that into my documents. Now I do take the agent copy and the client copy from the MLS and put it in there. I like to send the client copy when I'm sending the contract to the client. I like to send the agent client when I gather all the information and get everything signed. I send the agent one with the agent with the contract to the attorneys that's been signed to the seller. So I do import both of them from the MLS into the system. So those are some of my external documents that I have to import from the computer into my room. Now, DocuSign for the actual forms is going to bring in the forms that you need automatically based on the transaction that you selected. So in this case, we select the buyer, so it's going to bring in most of the buyer packet for you. Now you need to go in, and if you're working with the buyer, click on buyer transaction, because it bring in mostly everything, but it doesn't bring in everything. So if you know that something applies to the buyer, you need to bring it into your room. I stay away from the offer to purchase unless it's new construction and you know they got their own contract, or unless it's something we can't write up a contract for because it's not residential, like commercial.
Okay.
Or if, and only if you're in a crunch and it's a highest and best due and your buyer just saw it and you want to get your offer in and you know you only got an hour and you can't possibly gather all the information together within that hour to show, you want to get your client's offer on the table, then you would do a one-page offer to purchase. Otherwise, do a full-fledged contract. Don't be the lazy way and go just to offer the purchase. Use that for emergency. So you'll see that I have things in use because it's already pulled into my system. If it's required and it didn't, like informed consent to dual agent, well, I'm not a dual agent on this one, so I don't need it. If I needed it, I would make sure I bring it into the room by clicking it. If your buyer was waiving an inspection report, you would bring it into it. Of course, you see my contract and hold harmless is in there, informed consent to dual agency. It's brand X, so I know I didn't need to disclose dual agency. I'm not going to bring the lead in because this is a lead that's not signed. I want the lead that's signed. Get that from the listing side, which is on the MLS. Other documents down here that you may need, including addendums. Now, there's addendums on the back page of a contract, and we'll see those, but any addendums that you may need is here that you would need to pull in. Now, if it's not here, like one of the agents had a pool, well, you don't see it on here, so then you're going to go to your library, and you're going to show more, and you're going to bring in NJAR. NJAR is the National Association of Realtors. They have all the addendums that you possibly will need for anything and everything. So you might want to get familiar with NJAR documents in the library so that if you're looking for something that you don't see in our rooms, then you just go here and you'll find it. So I think it was the one on food, you got window guard, sale, landlord, hold harmless, seasonal lease. If anybody see it, prior to me saying something, we're looking for the one that say pool. Anybody see pool? Yeah, I know it's here. So if you don't see it, guess what you can do? We can type.
Search for it.
And there you go. NJAR regarding swimming pool. So this unit did have a swimming pool. We're gonna have it out. I didn't even put it in there. But since we got it there, let's bring it into the room. And now let's go over the documents as what we would need to get started. So now you know if it's an external document, how to import it into your room. If it's a DocuSign document that you need, where to go to get it from your room or your library. Everybody good with that? Any questions?
No.
Okay. I have a question. It's for me.
Me.
That KW 1044 offer form, the one that you said is a one-pager, the reason you wouldn't use that is because it's not the full contract. So where do you normally get the full contract from?
118, contract number 118, NJAR, it's here.
Okay, and that's the one to use.
Yeah.
Got it, thank you.
We're gonna go over it today too, Release. NJAR form 118.
Got it, so that's the one I use for my buyers. Thank you.
Everybody use that. So consumer information statement. We must always have the consumer information statement because this is how they know how we're going to work in their behalf. Whether we're going to work as a buyer agent, a seller agent, a disclosed dual agent, or a transaction broker. A transaction broker, we don't really deal as a transaction broker because we do representation. We have representation as a seller agent or buyer agent. And in most cases, because we're Keller Williams, you're listing your lead, we're act as disclosed dual agents a lot of the times. So a lot of times we're going to be disclosed dual agents, just basically mean that you're not going to give one party any unfair advantage over the other party. So a lot of people are like, well, how do I explain disclosed dual agency? My job here is to make sure that the transaction is get presented to the seller and what you request as the buyer to the seller. I can't give any unfair advantage over the buyer, over the seller, nor can I give any unfair advantage of the seller over you as the buyer. Therefore, when we present in your offer and it is a Keller Williams property, I will automatically become a disclosed dual agent. As a disclosed dual agent, I'm just like the mediator. I'm just here to present, not to give anyone any unfair advantage, and leave it like that. They can read, they understand that it shouldn't be an issue with disclosing the agency. Yes, Ramesh?
Carol, what fiduciary responsibilities do we have to our buyers or our sellers when we don't, let's say buyers, for example, if I don't have my client sign a buyer agency agreement with me and I'm just on the deal as a transaction broker, it's not a best practice, not what I do, but I hear other agents, they work with their clients all the time. Sometimes they don't even have them sign the buyer agency because they know they're going to go with them and they just put transaction broker. So what fiduciary responsibility do I have with my buyer that comes with the buyer?
None, because you don't have an agreement. You don't have an agency agreement with them. You
Say that
represent the
again?
transaction, not the person.
So what don't I have to worry about as a transaction broker that I would have to worry about as a buyer agent?
Well, you're not putting you don't care about their interests. You don't care about their feelings. You just care about the transaction.
Okay. So when it comes to
Transaction is not the person, is not caring about it. It's just whatever you gotta do to get the deal done. But anything legally that you don't do, like disclose that there's a hole in the wall when you know there is and it's covered up, then that still falls on you, whether you're a buyer agent or a transaction broker or a seller agent.
got it. But say I know they're willing to go up to 700K and they just put an offer at 650 and I'm the transaction broker. Are you able to say
you have no agency again with them?
Got it. That's it. You don't have any responsibility to make sure you're looking after their best interest.
Okay.
Thank you.
So that's CIS. One other thing on the CIS that I want to make sure that you are aware of, down here where it says relationship, it says I. Make sure you start off with your name, type in your name, because when it goes through compliance, that's what she's going to look for, and she's going to want to see that one of these boxes are signed. If you already know that you don't represent the buyer, the seller, then you're going to be a buyer's agent only. You click on buyer agent only. If for any reason you think that you're going to be a disclosed dual agent, then you do buyer agent and disclosed dual agent. So most of the time when we starting with the buyer and going out with them, we don't know if we're going to show them our listing or not. So we're going to be a disclosed dual agent with the buyer agent. But if we already in a transaction and we already know we saw the property and we already know it's not a Keller Williams property and now we writing up the contract, then you can do buyer agent only.
And Karen, when you say Keller Williams property, you mean only Keller Williams, Jersey City, or Bayonne, right? If I'm
correct, only Jersey City, KW, Bayonne is disclosed dual agent. If it's Keller Williams, Hoboken, we're not a disclosed dual. If it's Keller Williams, Montclair, we're not a disclosed dual. Only offices that we are disclosed dual is Jersey City, Bayonne, and when we open Elizabeth. We're gonna put that in the air so we can open that one, and then you'll have 3. Okay, the next one would be our affiliated services agreement. So 2 of them look the same. The purpose of the 2 is because one of them should have been disclosed when you first have a buyer consultation. You should be using this one, affiliated service advisory agreement, to show them the different agencies that we have, that we work with, from mortgage to title to home warranty, all of it's there. This is just an acknowledgement to the client. If we're doing our buyer consultation correctly, we would do this up front. Then when we get ready to go to do the actual contract, we do the second one, because the second one has 3 pages to it. So it's the same form, but now you'll see where they're going to accept the services, whether they want the title, whether they want the mortgage, whether they want a legal service, whether they want the, which one is the third one? Consumer request to represent the above, insurance, whether they want the home warranty, they check yes or no. So if you're doing buyer consultations, which we all should be doing, you do the CIS up front and you do the disclosure part up front and you do the COVID up front. This way, when you get ready to go to the contract, it doesn't look like you have two documents that are the same that they sign in repetition, because one should have been done when you did the buyer consultation. Ramesh, you got another question?
No, I didn't lower my hand, but I actually do have one. On one of these, the agent's signature is required, and on the other one, it's not required, right?
Yeah, no, both of them is required. See, Karen's right there. And then on the first one, the 2-page one, I'm right down there, right there.
Okay. And at the top of these forms, it basically says that all of those different Keller Williams offices, that me as an agent, I may have an interest in either a share in the office or a share in the title company. Like, why does it list all of these out?
This is the ownership agreements with the following companies. We are a team. So this is everybody on our team under our partnerships. So these are all our partnerships. Jersey City and Bayonne. Yeah, you're gonna have to. Jersey City and Bayonne both are our part of this corporation, but it's all a partnership. These are just partners. The business relationship comes down with these ones: the mortgage, the title, the home warranty, the home shell. Those are the ones that we may have an interest in financially. We don't have an interest in the offices itself outside of being an agent of one of them. You're not going to get paid off the office. You're going to get paid off of the services that these offices are partners in with.
Okay, so it's basically trying to let our clients know that if there's a potential conflict of interest, if I own shares in the title company that we allow them to use, you don't have to use that title company, but heads up, I own shares in the title company, basically.
If you do, but you don't, so you don't say that the way you would say, I may have, there's an opportunity that I can eventually or can own shares in it. So if that's the case, I would get paid. Right now, I'm not getting paid on any of these because you're not. So you don't want to put something there that you're doing, but you're not doing.
Got it.
But you do have the opportunity. You can say you have the opportunity. This is the wire. We have 2 wires. Why do we have 2 wires? Well, on this one wire, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 sources if your client should get caught up in fraud. We don't do wires, and we're trying not to do wires. But there have been instances where it may look like you, Ramesh, send out an email to your client saying that there's a wire, that they need to wire money, and your client trusts you, believe you, been working with you, everything looks the same, and then they send money, and Ramesh, you never told them to do that because you got scammed. So we let our clients know up front that we will never ask them as agents to send any wires, that information will come from their attorney or the title company directly. So if they should ever see an email saying Karen Sims told them to send the wire, they already signed documentation, and Karen already explained to them that it will be a scam because Karen is already telling you, and you sign paperwork, that Karen will never send you a wire. So if you do get that, encounter that, you know it's a scam. So this is why we use this one, and then the one from NJAR we also use, which is another wire, disclosure, letting them know that we do not do wires, be careful of scams. But it only gives one source right here where they can try to make a complaint to get their money. If you get involved in a situation where there is a scam, they got less than like 2 to 3 hours to try to get that money back. Once it goes from out of that bank, it's good as gone. So just educate your clients. Everything is about educating. So educate your clients that you as an agent will never give them instructions about wiring any type of money, and make sure you have it signed. So these are protections for you, for us, so that if anything ever happened, we are in the clear that it wasn't us and it's not going to fall on your E&O as far as getting sued. Let's go to the next one. This is an addendum. If you have more than 3 families, you have to sign an addendum. This is a 3-family or more unit, so that's why this addendum is signed. Let's go straight to the contract now, because I think we did all. No, let's see. Hold harmless. We know that we're still dealing with COVID, so while we're still dealing with COVID, we still have to sign these hold harmless documents. Now, this one is 2 of them. This one is just saying that the buyer, and once you sign it one time, you don't have to worry about each property you do signing a new one. You sign this one, and it's good with you until you close that buyer out. Before we had to sign multiple ones. Now we just have to sign one. The other COVID document that you want to have your client sign is, let me find that one. Properties. Oh. Maybe this one is it. Okay. Oh, let's see what this is in the middle. Oh, this is the swimming pool that will have to get signed, but she wants that swimming pool out, so I don't even think I'm gonna get that signed. Wire. Lord. All right, so if I didn't sign the document, then you know where we gotta go. We gotta go back, we gotta look at DocuSign, we gotta pull in, and the one that I want to show you everybody is your other hold harmless for COVID. There you go. Okay, I'm assuming it's gonna be the second one. Yes, this is it. I gotta take this one call, y'all, to attorney. Hey, Marty. Yeah, the water was working, and then probably within 5-10 minutes, it got cold again. So they putting in a new hot water tank. Yeah. Not, we're actually putting a new one in. They went 8:30 this morning. They should be started now. Correct. It was supposed to be 10:30. Yeah. I'm on class team though. I'm on a class. I'm on Zoom training. All right. Yes, I will. Thank you. All right, sorry guys. So this is the form that I wanted to use, that I should have used. This protects your client because we're still in COVID. So if anything should happen, it will extend your client days out. So 30 days if it's left blank. So if you want to do like 15 days or 7 days, you can change the date. This protects your client, the buyer or the seller, whichever one you're working with. Should something happen and this box is clicked and they can't close because of COVID, you're protecting their money so that they'll be able to get reimbursed, not reimbursed, but get their good faith deposit back with no issues because it's related to COVID. Do they have to prove that they have a hardship from COVID? Well, it's still kind of a medical HIPAA falls under, privacy. So they don't really have to disclose that they have COVID or results of COVID. If this is signed, this is protecting your client. So have it signed. Because if you're working for your buyer, you're not working for the deal. Of course, we want to get paid in the long end, but if you're working to protect your buyer interest, you want to make sure that it's signed and sent over. Now, I didn't send that over, and we're about to close soon, so I'm probably not going to send it over, but I'm probably going to have to send it over because guess what? It's part of your compliance. So I'm going to wait until we get further in and then send it over to have it signed. I'm not shaking any feathers right now, but I will get it signed for purposes of compliance. Let's go to the contract because I think at this point in time, everything has been signed or explained for the contract, and it's the contract itself that most of us have the issues with of how do we do a contract. So I just want to make sure I put y'all over there so I can scroll on this side. So we start off with the contract. The first page is your opinion 26, which is the notice that everybody needs to have an attorney. And how you represent the person, whether you represent the buyer, not the seller, both the seller and the buyer, or neither the seller nor the buyer, or the seller, not the buyer. In this case, I represent the buyer, not the seller. It also explains, and I suggest everybody read it at least once in their career, but it also explains that they need to get an attorney because if they don't have an attorney after 3 days, this contract is legally binding and no changes can be made. The seller will sign, the buyer will sign. You as the buyer agent must sign, and you're the one that prepared it. So you are the name that prepared it, that go down there. And the listing agent must sign it. Do you know how many times we get kicked back from compliance because somebody, one of the agents forgot to sign their part? It's not going to go through compliance if it's not signed. That's the only place generally you have to sign as an agent. You should know your buyer information. You can get that off of their proof of funds or off of their pre-approval. Generally, and you see this on a lot of addresses, nobody puts the address there. TJ, now I've met her. She lives in the property, so I could have actually put her address there as living there. Where did I get the property information from? Remember our good old friend called the tax record. It gave me all the details I need. So make sure you pull in your tax record. One thing a lot of agents forget is the lot and the block. If you're using a condo, you're going to have a qualifier. The tax max is the city, the county is the town. Tax max is the town, the county is the county. So this is Bayonne, so that's Bayonne. If it was Jersey City, it'd be Jersey City, but they're all in Hudson County. Purchase price. So you got to negotiate, I think this purchase price was $750. So sometimes you got to go back and forth until you get a meeting in the mind. And we were able to get a meeting in the mind. Now this is out of attorney review, so I'm good. But if you're not out of attorney review, or if you're trying to negotiate, don't leave your paperwork around. Don't tell somebody else. Don't be in the bar and have a conversation and somebody may hear you because you're not protecting your client's interest. If somebody know that the listing price is $750, no, I only got $680, and this was an out of attorney review, they can use my own $680 to get me to go $680.82, and now I done lost a bid over $2,000 because I didn't keep my paperwork confidential. I didn't protect it because I left it on a copy machine. When we used to have faxes come in, and goodness gracious, thank goodness we don't have that no more. Somebody see your contract coming through on a fax. So just try to be as discreet when you're talking about your client's offer and when you're presenting it, because you never know what the next agent may hear that may have an alternative for their client to use against your own client, and you lose a deal. So when it comes down to negotiation, be discreet about what you're doing. Don't say anything until even if you win the bid, don't say anything to your out of attorney review. Because just because you win a bid, until you get out of attorney review, that contract is not secure. Do you hear me repeat? That contract is not secure until you are out of attorney review. So do not say anything to anyone about your price. If you need to discuss your price with somebody and you need to discuss it with me, that's fine. If I have my own offer, I will send you to another broker, Carmen or Lydia. So that has happened because I'm still an active agent. So if I have my own, I will not discuss with you about your client offer. That's just being fair.
What does that mean? I didn't understand it. If you have your own offer, I didn't get what that meant.
If you come to me, Ramiz, and we're bidding on the same property, as your broker, I'm not going to speak to you about it because I have an offer for that same property. I'm going to send you to Lydia, or I'm going to send you to Carmen, or I may send you to Renee. I'm going to send you to another broker in the office. But if I'm bidding on the same property, I will respect that I will not talk to you about your property and your client.
Got it. The whole conflict interesting. Thank you.
Correct. Initial deposit. We don't do no initial deposits because we're not an escrow company. So therefore, we are not holding any escrow. Additional deposit, however, we do. Now, if you're in a bidding war, you want that to be most attractive. Especially if you're doing a FHA and you compete and with conventional. And FHA, you might be putting 3% down where conventional is putting 10% down. Well, if you can take that 3% and give it all up front, it'll make you look stronger than just saying I'm giving 2,000 or 5,000 or 1% of the thing, and bringing the rest at closing. So just know how to balance out your money so that if you're putting your buyers in the best look to win that bid. Now, if there's no bidding war, then you might have a little bit of flexibility in how much you put up front as opposed to how much you bring in at closing. The mortgage in this case is 0 because it's cash. If it wasn't cash, then it would be 646 on line 47, and the rest of the deposits that she may or may not bring on line 48. In this case, she's bringing all the rest at closing, so it'll be 646 at closing. Any questions on the amounts or needing to balance out amount or understanding amount?
Karen, can we essentially just in our minds, anytime we see additional deposit, replace it in our mind with down payment? Is that what that is?
Yep.
Okay.
Now your down payment could be broken up. It could be broken up to 2 parts: additional deposit and balance of purchase price. So if that's if that 34,000, say my client can only do 4,000, then she have to bring that 30,000 on line 48.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, initial deposit is going to be 53NA because we didn't collect the initial deposit. Line number 57, 10 days after attorney review. The reason you don't want to put a date there is because sometimes we don't come out with, if you put, say, the 8th, and we don't come out of attorney review until the 27th, now your client is scrambling, trying to go run and find a money order, get in the bank before the 28th, and we just came out of attorney review the 27th. So don't put a date, put 10 days after attorney review. So that the attorney review on the 27th, then they got 10 days from the 27th to get that deposit in. And that's been acceptable.
Is that assumed to be calendar days? Do you just always assume it's calendar days, Karen, when you type it?
Yeah, I just do calendar days. I don't do business days.
Got it.
1031 exchange. This is a little bit new to me because this is my first 1031 exchange. So the attorney told me to put where that money would be. Normally it would be in the attorney trust account, seller's attorney trust account, or the buyer's attorney trust account. In this case, it's in a 1031 exchange attorney trust account. Line number 75, if it was conventional, you would put conventional, VA, FH. In this case, it's other, which is cash. 76 terms. Mortgage is generally 36 years, and it's based on a 36 payment schedule. That's just normal. Now, some investors may do 20 or 15, but generally it's 30 and 30. Line number 79. Written mortgage commitment is usually 30 days from the date that you start. It's generally when you get. Now, I do count in fact, 3 days for attorney review, so that don't count that as as part of my 30 days against my client to get that mortgage commitment. And then the closing date. In this case, it should have been 1/28. We started this back in December, but it's not. Now we're dealing with the oil tank, so we're probably not closing this to April, which is fine. We'll have money in April. Sometimes the date may resonate with them. They may want a particular date for a birthday, for anniversary, because we closed everything else in our life on the 28th, whatever. Let the buyer be a part of that process. It's easier to close at the end of the month. It saves the buyer a little bit more money than closing at the beginning of the month. Perhaps you want to look at the calendar and see that it's a Friday. This way people generally Saturday and Sunday have that weekend off from work. So that might be a factor in when they want to close too, so that they get off closer to the weekend to be able to move into a new property. So that be an exciting part of the buyer's part of helping with you with the contract and picking their closing date. Generally, it's going to be 45 to 60 days in the whole process. Next line would be 115, which is items included in the sale. You got to look on the MLS, see what's included in the sale. Line number 121, items excluded. Whatever they may not want, you want to make sure it's excluded, which is it's a lot of clutter in the basement. So you want to make sure it's free and clear of all personal stuff along with the garages. I'm sorry. Certificate of occupancy. This is a 3-family. It's generally 1.5%. Might be a little bit more than 1,000 because this is 680. So maybe closer to 1,500. But generally, that is the seller's responsibility. For Jersey City, we generally do a smoke certificate. If the owners are out of town, then as an agent, take on the responsibility. But if they're not out of town, let the owners get their own smoke certificate because they're notarizing that they have everything in place as far as the fire extinguisher, the smoke detectors, and the carbon monoxide. It's their signature. They're going out, they're buying it. But if you, as an agent, have to do it, you can get reimbursed at closing and directly, payable to you because that came out of your funds. Don't put it as part of KW, just put it as additional payment going back to you. You should have to pay for the smoke certificate out of your money. Municipal assessments, that will be disclosed if there's any assessments in, in your MLS. Sorry about that, y'all. Again, you want to put 3-family, 2-family, 4, whatever it is, you want to make sure you put it. I know one broker who was able to get out the full contract because they said it was a 2-family, and then once it was investigated, tax records, everything, appraiser, it came out that was 1-family. Because she had 2-family in her contract, they were able to get out of the contract because she wasn't buying a 1-family. She's buying a 2. So that made the contract legally not binding. So make sure you put what type of family it is. And sometimes if it's a condo, put condo plus parking. Tenancy applicable. We didn't put the names down, didn't have it at that time, but you should, and I should have gotten all the tenants' names. It's 3 tenants in there, 2 is going to be left. The owner is going to be moving out, so I should have gotten all the information. Even though the MLS had it, I should have put it on the contract itself as well. Lead-based paint, yes, anything built before 1978 has lead, so we already pulled in that statement from the MLS. I give them 2 days, it's 3 days if it's left blank. What I don't do is put 24 hours because that's just an insult to me. Like, you give me 24 hours or the offer is not binding, or you rescind the offer after 24 hours. No, everybody needs some time to think. So I put two days. Keeping in mind we're in a bidding war, so not in a bidding war, but we're in an environment where things are moving fastly. So I don't want you to take too much time. because I don't want another buyer to come in, but I don't want you to take too much time either. We don't use point of entry systems. I don't even know what it is. We don't use cesspools. Now, if you're doing properties down in the suburbs, you better start researching that a little bit more and knowing what POET and knowing what cesspools are and having attorneys that are familiar with that if you're going to be doing outside of this local area. And inspections. Your buyer can do any and all inspections that they want, and the standard has been 14 days. To make it a little more attractive, I put it down to 10 days, but we can do 7 days if you're in a bidding war and you're trying to make your contract look appealing. If you're gonna lower the time frame of this, just call and make sure that inspectors are available, because we've been short of appraisal inspectors, because there have been a lot of activity in the market. So you want to make sure if you put in 7 days, you can get inspected in 7 days. I'm sorry, I just need to drink some more water. And again, that's all inspections, 10 days to do inspections. We're in our inspection phase now, running inspections, and I hope surgery will come on shortly. So he'll talk a little bit more about inspections, but we have very important, especially here in Jersey City, you want to educate your buyer to do the all sweep and the sewer scope, because so many of the piping is broken within under the ground and causing backflow. So if you represent your buyer and you want your buyer to have best interest, have those two tests definitely done, because those can be very expensive items if they're left on the buyer. Termites is always required by the bank. So if they're taking a mortgage, they're going to do termite because the bank requires a termite to be done. But from my experience working with buyers, two things definitely that I've learned over the years is that sewer scope and the oil tank sweep. One property had 2 oil tanks. Never even realized that a property would have actual 2 oil tanks. But it was an oil tank for the first floor in the front, and was an oil tank for the second floor and the driveway for the top floor. So you want to just make sure that you protect your buyer's interest. And of course, you say it, whether they do it or not, that's up to them. But you be a professional to recommend. And remember, you're going to get an email that says this contract has hereby been null and void. And you're going to be like, what happened? That's the standard attorney language. They're going to say that, and then they're going to say it's hereby approved, and they're going to adjust it to their terms to represent what they need. Now, Karen did a bad job on this, because Karen didn't even say that she represents the buyer on here. She didn't even say that that England Fox represents the seller. So shame on Karen. But you want to make sure that all the information, license ID, is all there. And I did tell somebody that I will show y'all how to find the information. 1 minute. All right. I wanted to go on the database to show you how to do this. So we're going to go on Google, it's your friend, and we're going to go to Department of Banking Insurance. And you can look up any license number. Over here, it says license search. and you go to real estate, and you just type in the name. Torres, you mind if I use you? And you put real estate agent, salesperson, and you're active, and hit main search, and it didn't come up. Let's do that again. Torres, right? Salesperson, search. All right, so it brought up a lot of Torreses for me. And then I just want to find Maggie Torres. So I just look. Wow. Oh no, that is just too much. So let's go and narrow that down. What you laughing at? That's a lot of Torreses. What, Magdalena? Spell it for me. Oh, I can't hear you. You're mute.
GDAL.
Yeah.
ENA. Hey.
Now let's narrow that down. And there you go. So then I get her license number up top. That doesn't, and it should give me doesn't give me the office number, but at least I get her number if I need that for my contract. And then I would just have to look up Keller Williams to get their number. So the thing is, you can get the license number. The easiest thing is just to text Meg and say, hey, give me your license number. I'm writing up a contract. Your listing agent is going to be your friend or your enemy. So just have a conversation with the listing agent when you know you want to write up a contract. See what information they're going to give, and verify that the tax record, that's the name that's on the tax record, is the seller's name. And by the way, let me get your license number and your broker license number. All that could be done in the text. You don't have to call them, text them. It's easy to call because you don't know what gems they're going to give you and spill into your lap that will benefit your buyer if you call and have that conversation. But I understand everybody's busy, so you may want to have a really quick conversation and then text to ask the general questions like the license number and verifying the seller's information.
Karen, could you go back to that site real quick that had the licensee search agent info?
So let me get back to where I was. So I can come back to there.
Is the reference number in the middle towards the bottom? You were there. Is the reference number, is that the 1650524? Is that the number?
There you go. That's the office number.
Okay. That's the office number. So the 045 at the top is the agent's number and the reference number is the office number.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you for pointing it out because I ain't see it. Then remember we said we got all the information from the MLS. We have saved it, so we got all her information. You better know all your information. And then we never know what they're going to get commission-wise. Don't guess at a listing agent because sometimes you might get your head chopped off if you ask what their commission is, or if you put it there and it's not. Don't assume because they're giving you 2.5% that they're getting 2.5%. They may be getting less, they may be getting more, but whatever they negotiated, that's the terms they offered out on MLS. That's what you get, which is a 2.5 minus 300. So just worry about your commission. Make sure you put your commission because sometimes people forget to put, like, especially I've seen where they forgot to add the 300 and the other agent now is arguing with them over the 300, whether to give it or not, but you signed a contract, you didn't have it on it, so we going by the contract. No, we going by the MLS. Just double check your work, guys. Just double check, slow it down. I know we're excited to put in offers, but if we double check, we don't miss things that cause us money in the end. All right, then a disclosure. Ramesh, you got another question?
No, I'm good. Sorry, I got to lower my hand. Thanks.
The other one is disclose that the buyer or seller is a licensed agent. If they are, it has to be disclosed, and that would be on the MLS. In this case, not applicable. The addendums. So anything that you click on here, especially if you're dealing with a mortgage, has to be part of the contract. So if you're doing coronavirus, you have to put that addendum in. If you're doing a leg, it has to go over with the contract. Property with 3 or more, I showed you that earlier. It has to go on with the contract. Now the swimming pool, I forgot. I didn't click it. We didn't put it. This weekend at the home inspection, she said she didn't want it. So guess what? I'm not going to put it. I'm not going to alter the contract. It's already been signed. It's out of attorney review. They said at closing they don't want it. She's getting rid of it. So I'm not going to make it an issue. If it was a mortgage, perhaps when the appraisal went out, it would have been an issue that it's not on the contract. It's not a mortgage, it's cash, so it's a little bit different. Any additional contract provisions you want to put here. In this case, I put first floor is vacant, which is the owner's unit. The basement has a lot of stuff. Like I said, we need it free and clear, along with the garage. Parking available for the new buyer. I put this here because we had an incident here where one of the agents sold the property. New buyer wanted to parking, but the parking was for the tenant on the second floor. Nobody discussed the parking in attorney review, and therefore it became an issue because they assumed the new owner would get the parking, and that wasn't the case because the tenant had the parking as part of their lease. So it's a binding contract, right? So just make sure you distinguish who the parking is, who it's going for. I just got a new 4-family. There's 3-car parking. Are we getting money for it? Is any of the tenants have parking? So I was able to find out that one spot the tenant is allowed to use, the other 3 are the owner. So make sure you are figuring that information out and put it as part of the contract. When doing condos, make sure it's deeded, spot, whatever. If parking is included, make sure it's on a contract, especially if you know it have a separate deed. Parking sometimes has separate deeds because they have sold parking separately. And then in this case, the attorney was going on vacation and was, as you can see, December 27th, so it was the holidays. So it didn't start until the 5th of this year. So we got a late start. We got an all tank. This is not closing anytime soon, but it's all good. Any questions on the contract in itself?
I kind of got a question, Karen. How quickly do you, like, say you want a client that wants to submit an offer today? How quickly can you shoot out these contracts? We're not going to be as fast as you, but I'm just trying to figure out how fast you are.
Okay, so when I got it, it used to take me about 2 hours. Then I got it down to about an hour and a half. Now I can do it in about 45 minutes, but if I really concentrate and like no phone calls or nothing, I probably can turn it out in 30 minutes.
Got it. And nothing matters. Verbal stuff doesn't matter. If your client wants to submit an offer, all that matters is whoever gets this DocuSign thing.
It's in writing. Nothing verbal is acceptable anywhere for
it's only valid if it comes with the addendums with it, right? The LBP and the hold harmless for COVID. Otherwise, it's not valid.
If you give me a verbal with a listen, lead-based paste and a COVID, I'm not taking your verbal. You just gave me 2 documents. You didn't give me a contract. Contract is a written document, not a verbal.
And then as far as counter, like say your client's, it's a 700K, your client gives 680 and they counter offer at 690. What's considered is unless your client, if your client verbally says, you know what, I'll accept their counter, is that considered okay, or it has to be signed for accepting a counter offer?
So it has to be an issue. So you have to change that 680 to 690, and then you have to have them initial.
Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions? So that's the part where it's command based. The next thing is you have to, once you get your contract accepted, now we done came out of attorney review, now you need to make sure that everything else in your command is straight. You have to line all your documents up. So the contract that came in, you have to put in. You have to put in the whole harmless, everything that was signed. You have to put in and hit submit to your MCA so that you can get your documents approved. You also have to create your offer and commission statement. So your offer and commission statement will look like this. Let's view. I can't edit it now because it's already done. But you want to put in the sale price, the commission, the total, the dates. Now I'm gonna have to tell Patricia this is not closing this month, so that she could push that into next month. And I'm probably gonna push it to April because we're dealing with the oil tank. And then you want to adjust it. The computer is gonna do the numbers for you based on how much you capped or whatever. So don't worry about that part. Once you put in the information, the computer calculates everything for you, and then you want to hit submit to MC. On this side, there's going to be another box that hits submit to MC. When you hit to MC, that is Patricia. So Patricia now knows for the month of March, we'll have money. In this case, it's supposed to be February, but I'm already saying this is not going to close. So for the month of March, we'll know that she has income coming in for the office. Because remember, guys, we are a month-to-month company. Therefore, if you don't put your commission request in, we think the office is broke. And then at the last minute, now here everything comes boom, 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 boom. But we would like to keep track. So please make sure when you come out of attorney review, you create your commission.
Karen, can I ask you a question? It has to do with command, but it's a rental. You can tell me to call you later, but it has to do with these documents and everything. I have my client's check. I got all the other checks, everything good. I was gonna drop off the check for the KW fee to the office today. All my documents are approved except for one, the MLS listing report. It says upload a copy of the closed listing report. So do I have to reach out to the listing agent, tell her that, listen, since the lease is signed, all checks have been delivered, can you please close this out on the MLS and send me a copy of it? Is that how that works?
Yeah, or you can just say, can you close it out? And when she closes it out, you can just go create a copy yourself.
Okay, but she has to close it out before I can submit the commission request because all the documents have to be approved by compliance, right?
Correct. That is the correct way to do it. Now, if you go in and you pull it and it's not, and you put it in, Colleen may or may not approve it. You may or may not get rejected, but the best way is to have it closed. So it is read it, rent it, and you can go ahead on and put it in command. So you just pull it from the MLS once she does it. Just ask her to give you a heads up so you can go in and pull it.
Got it. So I'll email her telling her to close it. I'll drop off the check today, and then I'll submit the commission request.
Yeah, just check the MLS before you do that, though, just in case you already did it.
Sorry, I didn't get that. Check it for what?
Just check the MLS before you tell her, just in case you already did it.
Piss her off. Got it. I got it. Got it. Thanks.
So that is pretty much it. You got command. You know how to put your offer in. You know how to upload your documents. You know how to find a client. If you need the video, it's back here for you to come back and look at on YouTube over and over and over again. Any other questions? I got
one more, Karen. The agent that gave me this rental in New York, they sent me a form, asked for the tax ID for our office. I filled it out. On that form, it requires your signature. So I emailed them back saying, can you send it to my broker record? And I CC'd you on it. I'm pretty sure that this went to an email box that's not like receiving because it's like dot loop with all these numbers and letters. So I think I'm going to reach out to this guy in New York and say, hey, can you send me the form copy or send it to Karen so she can sign it? Because I figure I have to upload this form into my DocuSign, if not Command.
I'm in the office today, so if you resend it again, I can download it now. It's just easier if they can send it to me where if I'm on the road, I could just hit it and sign it if I'm not able to download it, but I'm in the office today. So if you want to resend it to me, Ramesh, and then I'll download it onto my computer and upload it and get it signed.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So if you have any other questions, you know where to reach me. You know my cell phone. You know I'm accessible. Just let me know. If you need a one-on-one, that's fine with me as well.
Thank you, Karen.
You're welcome. Talk to you guys. Thank you for showing. And hopefully next time we can get Sergio, the inspector, on.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.